red carpet at the Mission Impossible 8 premiere was perfect. 500 photographers, flashing lights, screaming fans. Then, at 7 p.m. sharp, Tom Cruise stepped out of his limo in his signature black suit, flashing that million-dollar smile. The crowd went wild. At 7:15, another Tom Cruise emerged from a different limo, wearing the exact same suit, same smile, same confidence. The photographers kept shooting, thinking it was some publicity stunt. Then at 7:30, a third Tom Cruise arrived. That's when 500 cameras stopped clicking, and Hollywood held its breath. What happened next didn't just break the internet. It shattered everything we thought we knew about identity, celebrity, and the very nature of reality itself. 7 p.m. The first arrival. The TCL Chinese Theater in Hollywood had been transformed into a fortress of glamour. Red velvet ropes lined the entrance, creating a river of crimson that guided celebrities from their limousines to the golden doors of cinema history. This wasn't just any movie premiere. This was Mission Impossible 8, potentially Tom Cruise's final outing as Ethan Hunt. Entertainment journalist Maria Santos stood at position 7 along the press line, her camera ready and her questions memorized. She had covered Tom Cruise premieres for 15 years, and she knew the drill. He would arrive precisely on time, work the crowd with military efficiency, and deliver sound bites that would trend for days. At exactly 7 p.m., a black stretch limousine glided to the curb. The crowd's anticipation reached a fever pitch as the door opened, and there he was, Thomas Cruise Mapother IV, in all his glory. He wore a perfectly tailored black Armani tuxedo, his hair styled with that signature casual yet perfect sweep. His smile could have powered the Hollywood sign. At 61, he moved with the confidence of a man who had spent 4 decades conquering impossible missions, both on and off screen. "Tom! Tom! Over here!" The photographers shouted in unison, their flashes creating a strobe light symphony that could be seen from space. Tom obliged, as he always did. He posed for photos, signed autographs, and worked his way down the press line with the precision of a Swiss watch. Maria caught his attention for exactly 30 seconds. "Tom, is this really your final mission?" she asked. He flashed that trademark grin. "Never say never, Maria. Ethan Hunt doesn't know how to quit." The crowd erupted. Social media exploded with videos and photos. Hashtag Mission Impossible 8 began trending immediately. Everything was perfect, everything was normal, everything was exactly as it should be. Tom disappeared into the theater at 7:12 p.m., leaving behind a trail of satisfied fans and fulfilled photographers. The premiere was off to a flawless start. 7:15 p.m. The Impossible Celebrity. Photographer Jake Morrison was reviewing his shots on his camera's LCD screen when the second limousine arrived. He glanced up casually, expecting to see another A-list star making their entrance. Instead, he saw Tom Cruise. Jake blinked hard, certain he was experiencing some kind of camera-induced hallucination. Tom Cruise had already entered the building. Jake had photographed him just 3 minutes ago. But there he was again, stepping out of a different limousine, wearing an identical black tuxedo, sporting the same confident smile. The crowd's reaction was immediate but confused. Excited screams mixed with puzzled murmurs. Some fans began filming on their phones, unsure if they were witnessing an elaborate publicity stunt or losing their collective minds. "Is this part of the movie?" someone shouted. "Did Tom come back out?" asked another. But this Tom Cruise seemed oblivious to the confusion. He waved to the crowd with the same enthusiasm as the first Tom, signed the same autographs with identical penmanship, and posed for photos with equal charisma. Entertainment reporter David Kim managed to get close enough for a question. "Tom, didn't you just walk the carpet 15 minutes ago?" The second Tom looked genuinely puzzled. "This is my first time on the carpet tonight, David. Are you feeling all right?" His response was delivered with such sincerity, such conviction, that David began questioning his own memory. Had he imagined the first arrival? Was he confusing this premiere with another event? Meanwhile, Jake Morrison was frantically scrolling through his camera's memory card. The photos were all there. Tom Cruise at 7 p.m., entering the theater at 7:12 p.m. But here was Tom Cruise again at 7:15 p.m., as real and present as the first one. The second Tom worked the crowd for exactly 12 minutes, displaying the same professional charm and practiced responses as the first. He signed programs with identical flourishes, posed for selfies with the same angles, and delivered sound bites with the same inflection patterns. At 7:27 p.m., he too disappeared into the theater, leaving behind a crowd that was beginning to whisper among themselves. Something was wrong, but nobody could quite articulate what. 7:30 p.m., the breaking point. Security Chief Marcus Kane was monitoring the event from his command post when the third limousine pulled up. His team had successfully managed 2 arrivals, and he was beginning to relax. The premiere was nearly complete, with only a few more celebrities expected. Then Tom Cruise stepped out of limo number 3. Marcus's blood ran cold. He immediately grabbed his radio. "Control to all units, we have a situation. I need eyes on Tom Cruise's current location inside the building, immediately." The response crackled back within seconds. "Control, Tom Cruise is in the VIP lounge, talking to the director." Marcus stared at his monitor, showing the third Tom Cruise, now working the red carpet. "Are you absolutely certain?" "Affirmative, sir. Visual confirmation. He's been here for 18 minutes. Marcus switched to a different channel. "Theater security to control. Tom Cruise is also in Theater 7 reviewing the sound system with the technical team." The radio fell silent. Marcus felt the world tilt slightly on its axis. Outside, the third Tom Cruise was generating the most dramatic response yet. The crowd had moved beyond confusion into something approaching mass hysteria. Phones were recording from every angle. Social media was exploding, and entertainment journalists were frantically calling their editors. "This is impossible," whispered celebrity blogger Lisa Chen, broadcasting live on Instagram. "I've been standing here for 2 hours. I've seen Tom Cruise arrive 3 times. This is either the most elaborate publicity stunt in history, or something is very, very wrong." The third Tom seemed completely unaware of the chaos he was causing. Like the previous 2, he exhibited the same mannerisms, the same speech patterns, the same professional approach to crowd management. When asked about the previous arrivals, he showed genuine confusion. "I think you might have me confused with someone else," he told a persistent reporter. "This is my first time on the carpet tonight." The moment of truth. At 7:45 p.m., the impossible happened. All 3 Tom Cruises emerged from the theater simultaneously. They converged in the theater's lobby, filled with Hollywood's elite. Conversations died instantly. Champagne glasses paused halfway to lips. Camera flashes froze. 3 identical Tom Cruises stood 20 feet apart, each looking at the others with expressions of absolute bewilderment. "Who are you?" the first Tom asked, his voice carrying that familiar intensity. "I'm Tom Cruise," replied the second, his tone identical. "No," said the third, stepping forward. "I'm Tom Cruise." The silence was deafening. In a room full of people who created impossible scenarios, everyone was witnessing something that transcended fiction. The security response. Marcus Kane's training had prepared him for stalkers, protesters, even terrorist threats. But his manual had no chapter on multiple identical celebrities. He cordoned off the lobby and called for backup. The premiere was officially suspended. "I need to speak with the real Tom Cruise," Marcus announced. All three responded simultaneously. "I am the real Tom Cruise." Their responses were identical in timing, tone, and inflection, like hearing an echo with no original sound. Marcus tested them with personal details only the real Tom would know. Childhood memories, private conversations, specific moments from film sets. The first Tom correctly answered everything about his childhood in Syracuse, his first audition, private conversations with Marcus during the Top Gun Maverick premiere. The second Tom answered identically with perfect accuracy. The third Tom provided the same flawless responses. Each claimed complete authenticity. Each insisted the others were imposters. Each displayed identical emotional reactions, speech patterns, even unconscious habits like adjusting cufflinks when nervous. The media explosion outside. News vans arrived from every network. #3Toms became the top trending hashtag worldwide within an hour. Dr. Sarah Martinez, genetics professor at UCLA, was pulled from dinner by CNN. From a scientific standpoint, what we're seeing is impossible. Human cloning to this level, including memories and personality, is decades beyond our capabilities. Entertainment lawyer Rebecca Thompson fielded calls from every studio. The legal implications are staggering. If there are multiple Tom Cruises, which owns the rights to his image? Which can sign contracts? FBI investigation. FBI Special Agent David Park arrived at 9:30 p.m. This had moved beyond celebrity drama into potential national security territory. He separated the three Toms for individual interviews. Each was placed in different rooms with deception detection specialists. The interviews revealed disturbing consistency. All three had identical memories up to that morning. Each remembered waking up in Tom's Beverly Hills mansion, following the same routine preparing for the premiere. But their memories diverged at 6:30 p.m., 30 minutes before the first arrival. Each Tom remembered different cars, different routes, different preparations, yet each passed every polygraph test. Each showed identical fingerprints, DNA, retinal patterns. By every scientific measure, all three were authentically Tom Cruise. The scientific theory. Dr. Elena Vasquez, quantum physicist from MIT, consulted on the case. Her theory was revolutionary. What if we're witnessing quantum consciousness division? In quantum mechanics, particles exist in multiple states until observed. What if human consciousness underwent similar phenomenon? It was wild, unprecedented, impossible to prove. But it explained everything. Identical memories, personalities, and authentic claims. If Tom somehow underwent quantum consciousness splitting, she continued, each version would be equally real, not copies, parallel manifestations of the same individual. The test. To test this theory, each Tom was asked to make a significant future decision that would differentiate them. The first Tom declared his intention to retire from action films and focus on dramatic roles. The second Tom announced his decision to direct films personally, something he'd never done. The third Tom surprised everyone by stating his intention to take a year off and travel the world incognito. For the first time since the premiere, the three Tom Cruises were no longer identical. They had begun to diverge, choosing different paths. Their shared identity was fracturing into individual destinies.
The joint statement.
The three men issued one joint statement, the only time they would speak as one voice. We don't understand how this happened. We don't know why we exist as three when we began as one. But we know who we are, each of us. We are Tom Cruise, and we will find our own ways to honor that identity, separately and together. Epilogue. 6 months later. The world adapted to this new impossible reality. The first Tom retired from action films. He won his first Academy Award for The Father's Shadow, showcasing dramatic abilities never demonstrated before. The second Tom became Hollywood's most innovative director, revolutionizing how practical stunts blend with narrative storytelling. The third Tom disappeared for exactly 1 year. Rumors placed him in Tibet helping orphans, in villages teaching children, on merchant ships working as crew. When he returned, he brought peace and perspective that transformed every interview. Hollywood adapted its systems for multiple versions of the same person. New legal frameworks were established. The Screen Actors Guild created guidelines for parallel performers. Scientists launched research projects to understand the phenomenon. Philosophers rewrote theories of identity. Theologians debated the nature of the soul in an age of quantum consciousness. Closing. Afterward with NY 736 accepted. Today, when you see Tom Cruise at a premiere, on a talk show, or performing an impossible stunt, you might wonder, which one is he? The actor, the director, or the wanderer? But perhaps that's the wrong question. The real revelation wasn't about cloning or quantum physics. It was about realizing that identity isn't as simple as we thought, that who we are might be just one possibility among many, that our choices don't just determine our future, they determine which version of ourselves we become. The red carpet premiere lasted 90 minutes, but in those 90 minutes, 3 Tom Cruises shattered our understanding of identity, reality, and what it means to be human. They proved that some missions truly are impossible, like defining a single, authentic self in a universe of infinite possibilities. The next time you look in a mirror, you might wonder, how many versions of you exist? How many choices have created how many different realities? Tom Cruise, all 3 of him, would probably smile and say, "Mission possible," and somehow, impossibly, he'd be right. End message. Which Tom Cruise would you want to meet? Tell us in the comments below, and subscribe for more stories that challenge everything you thought you knew about reality.